Hey, this is David, and this is my final video reflection. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and share my story, since you shared yours in class. Yeah, so here we go. So I was born and raised in Hiawatha, Kansas. It's far, far northeast Kansas, about an hour, 20 minutes north of Topeka. 10 minutes from Falls City, Nebraska, 45 minutes from St. Joe, Missouri. So right up there in the corner, right on the bite. If you've ever seen the movie Boys Don't Cry, that took place. The real story took place in Falls City and Rulo, which is 10 miles from Hiawatha. And so the chick, the surviving one, is actually in Walmart all the time in Hiawatha, because Hiawatha has the only Walmart around for 45 minutes. So anyway, so I was born and raised in Hiawatha. Honestly, I had a great childhood. I didn't really have any issues. I was a good student. I was raised in the church. I was a good boy, I guess. I honestly didn't do much. I just didn't. When I was in second grade, I guess, significant, my dad and my mom divorced. But honestly, it was kind of a weird setup because my dad didn't just disappear. He was still around all the time. Him and my mom still had a good relationship. He was a carpenter, and so his workshop was still there. And so he would still come over and work in his workshop. And my mom and him just weren't romantic anymore. And so it was very, very strange. There was tension, because they loved each other very much. But that got easier over time for them. He had 3 wives over the course of his life. Honestly, I know that this sounds weird, but at family gatherings, they would all be there, and there were never any issues. There just weren't. There was no shouting or fights or anything. It was what it was. And so I think they handled everything very maturely. But anyway, so mom and dad got divorced when I was in second grade. Like I said, I had a great childhood. In the 7th grade, so my dad was an alcoholic. He had his own issues that he was struggling through. And when I was in the 7th grade, the only strain on relationships is with his 3rd wife, Shauna. He had issues. He was depressed, and he got drunk one night, and Shauna felt threatened, and so she ran, and he went after her in a car. And then she called the cops, and the cops went after him. He called my mom and I, and I remember talking to him, and he's like, "David, do you want my motorcycle?" And I was like, "Well, yes, I do, but stop, pull over." We tried to convince him, he wouldn't, and he's like, "Do you want my carpentry equipment?" And obviously I said yes and stuff. And he's like, do you want my workshop? Do you want the stuff as simple as the belt sander? And do you want the table saw? And I'm like, yeah, I do. But pull over. And you knew it was bad, and there was no convincing him. And we tried so hard. And he just kept going. And he ended up calling his mom after that, and we still have a voicemail. And he forgot to hang up, and you could hear him praying. He was very drunk, and then he pulled over, and he got out of the car with a gun, and basically committed suicide by cops, by shooting. Hard to explain. my dad was not the type to, he was never like the type to shoot someone. He was not like that. And of course the cops didn't know this. And it was a new cop that night, and shot him right in the chest, and he died. Anyway, so my dad died in the 7th grade. I remember going to class, and I got a call, or they called me to the office, and I just knew. I knew when I went to sleep that night that he was already gone. You have this feeling when stuff like that happens. And when I went to school that day, I was waiting for a call. Anyway, so I went home. My mom was torn. And so I just tried to be there for her. And then my youth pastor came over. And then I got my time to cry and stuff. Anyway, so that was a long time ago. Fine now. But that was definitely an issue, and I didn't realize. And it was after that something happened to my grades. I started doing pretty terrible. The following year, my grandpa died, who lived in Hiawatha. And so we went and had his funeral, and then 2 weeks later, my grandma died. And so basically, the only surviving relative I have is basically my mom. Honestly, she did a heck of a job raising me. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so I'm still sentimental about that. But she did an awesome job. But anyway, so those are the big significant things when I was a kid. I started dating a girl when I was 16, and we clicked, and almost 4 years later, I asked her to marry me, and we got married when I was 19. It was almost 4 years. I asked her to marry me when I was 19. It was 20 when we got married. May 22nd. 3 years in, almost 3 years in, I came home. She was about to graduate. I came home from class. Her stuff was gone. We shared our car. We had bought our car. And so I had to pick her up from class, picked her up. And she asked for a divorce, just out of the blue. I don't know what happened. No one knows what happened. But something happened to her. She was different. Something just clicked in her head or something. I don't know. And she asked for a divorce. I tried to convince her. I offered marriage counseling, and I went to our pastor, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I honestly, I don't know what to do. And she left. And so she just looked at me, and she's like, David, don't you understand? I don't want your kids. And that broke me. That hurt very, very much. And she moved to San Diego and has an awesome job. She worked hard for it. And so I've been through a divorce, and of course that was the year of my 5-year anniversary. 10-year anniversary. I don't know. One of my high school anniversaries. And so I was like, I'm not going. Like, what do I do? Like, well, everyone else has just met their probably the person that they're going to propose to and stuff. The last thing I was going to do was go to my high school reunion and be like, hey guys, already been married, already been divorced, still in college. So I skipped out on that reunion. It was this is weird, but I might say that it was harder. The divorce was harder on me than my dad's death. It was bad. It was really, really bad for a long time. 3 years in, or after that, 8 months ago, one of my friends was wanting to set me up, and I hadn't even thought about dating. I was like, I'm gonna finish college, move, and then I'll date. And he wanted to set me up, and I'm like, eh. But then I met this girl, and wow, it worked out. And it's been 8 months, which doesn't seem like very long, but like I've been around the block. Like, I know how these things work, and there is a way that we mesh and work together that is far beyond what I've experienced before. And so we've discussed this. There's a confidence in our relationship, and honestly, it's solely God's doing. It's amazing, and there's no way to explain it. But anyway, so that's my little sappiness there too. So that's where I am. Those are the big milestones of my life. And graduating next year. It's about time. It's a long time coming. So I'm excited. I also want to say that when I walked into the classroom and I heard you the first day, I was like, what am I in for? It was interesting. But the way that you taught helped me connect to the material in a way that that is different than the other professors. I've been in college for 9 years. I've been through lots of different courses. And you are one of the best teachers at Fort Hays. You have your own methods. It's different, but it works. I connected to the material. I learned the material. And maybe it was how many, having 3 assignments due every week that kind of worked it out. I'm not sure, but the way that you taught worked. So thank you. Thank you for being strict. There's not enough of that. That being said, I don't know what your decision is with my final paper yet, and so this is before I find out about that. So either way, I want you to know that I really value your strictness, and if you don't accept the paper, I'm fine with that, because I think that at some level there has to be black and white rules. I hope you do accept my paper, but if you don't, then I'm fine with that. I'm not going to be mad about something like that. I really just wanted to let you know that I really appreciated this class. So thank you, and good luck with everything.